Sometimes, people reach out to Highpoint at a very low point, possibly at a time in their life when they simply can't handle living. Maybe they've begun to let Christ into their heart when they feel that they're about to meet their Maker on the field of battle. From the very inception of this country, the mission of the clergy has mirrored that of the military. Since 1775, the Chaplains Corps, the church, has been an integral part of military life. At a time when a soldier might need Jesus, but doesn't know he or she needs Jesus, or can't even find Jesus, well, sometimes you've just got to bring Jesus to him or her.
And what might surprise you is that men of cloth also wear the camo. In places like Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq, chaplains would often pitch their tents right next to their comrades, deep in the combat zone. There are so many examples of faith and courage of the men of God on the battlefield.
Towards the end of World War II, there was a U.S. Army transport ship bound for Europe that was struck and sunk by a torpedo from a German U-boat. On board were 4 freshly ordained chaplains, all of a different faith, young men in their early 20s, with their whole lives ahead of them. As the ship was hit, the chaplains hit the lower deck, bringing up the wounded, rescuing the trapped, encouraging the frightened, and praying for them all. They were handing out life vests until there were none left, and finally, surrendering their own. All 4 perished that day, but they helped save 230 souls. Eyewitness reports spoke of the serenity, the valor, and the sacrifice of these soldiers of God. They were, and still are, the most highly decorated chaplains in the history of the United States. So there's another story of a Navy chaplain who was on board an aircraft carrier during the attack on Pearl Harbor. He witnessed his comrades being struck down by a Japanese Zero. He took control of the 40mm gun and shot down the attacking enemy aircraft. Luke 14:5 reads, "Which of you, having a son or an ox that has fallen on the well on the Sabbath, will not immediately pull him out?"
When we face extraordinary times and we encounter extraordinary situations, they birth extraordinary people. For our faith is not passive, we are active and we are unafraid. The church is not just here to honor the fallen or to help the grieving find peace, but we're here to embolden and empower the living.
Without faith, even in battle, what are we? Armies cannot travel unless fed. They cannot fight unless they're armed. Those soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen and women need also to be fed spiritually.
And not just on the battlefield, but when they come home. For many wounds are mental, not physical. Many men and women return from war an empty shell, a sounding brass, a clanging cymbal, devoid of purpose and connection.
For the past 8 years, in this part of the world that comprises the highest density of veterans and active military in the entire country, the pastors of Highpoint Church have had a shared mission with AHERO, America's Heroes Enjoying Recreation Outdoors, a 100% volunteer nonprofit charged with helping combat the appalling numbers of veterans who commit suicide. A veteran is 20 times more likely to die by his or her own hand than in combat. On this very weekend, around 50 veterans will take their own lives. Look around you now. Look at 50 people. The reasons are complex, of course, but they typically include a chronic sense of disconnection and lack of purpose.
AHERO and Highpoint Church offers a safe and welcoming place of refuge, reflection, and recovery. We stand together as our vets partake in offshore fishing, to commune, to cook their catch, to pray together, to break bread, and to begin to connect. And in peeling back the layers of the onion, to begin to heal as we forge strong bonds, be accountable, and connect with partners who can help them in their journey, like Healing Paws for Warriors, Warriors Hearts, Vet CV, and the Warhorse Project.
There it is, I can see him.
There it is, Sharky.
Over the 11 past years, nearly 11,000 veterans have come to this part of the world, to AHERO, to this giving and gracious community we call Gulf Breeze. And of that number, AHERO has lost 2 to suicide. And for us, that is 2 too many. We know that if we make the effort to reach out and to act in Jesus' name, that we can save more souls. We want to extend our sincere gratitude to this extraordinary congregation of people who we call Highpoint. You've quietly, powerfully, and steadfastly supported the mission of AHERO and have enabled us to do this incredible work. So on behalf of all the men and women of faith and those who serve, we salute you and thank you for showing us Christ Church.